Hey, Patty, you're on. Go for it.
I'm on?
Yeah, you're on. Give us a big, good intro.
Welcome, friends and fans, to another edition of GalaxyCon. No, sorry, that's the other job. Welcome, friends and fans, to another edition of The Legend of the Traveling Tardis. Nothing to do with that other show we used to be on. Hi, I'm Patty Hawkins. I'm just sitting in for today. Christian, this is your show. Come on out. You do your thing. Come on.
All right, fine. Here we go. My name is Christian Basil. Years ago, I had an idea. I got myself a TARDIS. Took it to new places, met a lot of new people, took some great pictures, and talked Doctor Who. From Krypton Radio and the creators of the Hanging With web show, this is the legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Join me on my latest adventures and become part of the legend. And welcome, fellow Whovians. Welcome back. For those of you just joining us again, welcome to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil, and we've got a great panel for you tonight over here. Let me introduce the folks over here because we're going to be talking about the appearance of four very special and wonderful actors that will be appearing at GalaxyCon this weekend, which will be taking place, I believe their appearance, if I'm not mistaken, Patty, is going to be on the 13th.
Yeah, it's going to be this December 12th, this Saturday at noon.
Gotcha.
Noon
so
Eastern time.
Gotcha. So Saturday, December 12th at noon. Check it out up there. Go to GalaxyCon.com. That's GalaxyCon.com. I can't talk today. Wow. And let me introduce the team today. Wait a minute. Let me get a little beverage. And welcome, folks, to our holiday special. Of course, the Traveling TARDIS is wow.
I'm going to try to drink again, buddy.
Not that kind of drink.
It's not enough of that drink.
Yeah, the Traveling TARDIS is wearing his nice little Santa beanie for our
Thuth, the TARDIS. It's larger in the inside than the sphere in the outside.
Anyway, let me introduce our panel team today. Melanie, welcome back. How you doing there, Melanie?
Doing quite well. Hope everybody else is as well. It's actually getting cold here in Florida, at least.
I know.
Woke up to 45 degrees. I'm like, what is this nonsense?
I put on the space heater this morning while I was at work. I didn't think that was a thing anymore. I was just like, I put a blanket on and like, no, I need a space heater. I need it. I need it badly there.
Went outside. I'm like, I need a jacket. Do I own a jacket? Where is the jacket? Honey, where do we keep the jackets again? You know, they're like, where we put last January.
I'm probably going to do my backyard fire when we're done here.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I got a fire pit. Because
that's
I
can.
Right.
Because you can.
Yeah.
I did see the pictures of your pit. How is that? Have you cooked anything on it? Or is it just a pit?
Yeah, it's just a pit. It's just us lows. I get one every couple of years, and it lasts about 2 years. Then it just rusts out and falls apart. And then I wait like another year. Like I should get a new one. Then I finally broke down. I was like, all right, you know what? First things get crazy. Go bought a $100 one. Boom, done. So. Mm-hmm. And it's nice, too, because the neighbors are trimming stuff. The nice thing, though, about having a fire pit this time of year is when people start throwing away the Christmas trees.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. There really is something behind the phrase "goes up like a Christmas tree" when they're talking about fire. I found that. I found that out. Much to my surprise, about 3 years ago, when I threw the top of one on. And this should be. It's like,
But here in Florida, we don't know anything about that here. We don't know anything about. Speaking of things we don't know, I don't know why. That's a great segue. Hey, isn't that nice, Mackenzie? That was a great segue.
I apologize on behalf of everyone.
The lovely author, Mackenzie Florida, the Right of Wands. How you doing, Mackenzie? What are you beating your face for? You're looking great today. I see you got the bow tie.
I have the bow tie. I've got the Sonic. And yes, this is the actual Fisher Sonic. And of course, you can't go anywhere without a fez.
There we go. Speaking of fezzes, wow. Okay.
There you go.
We're introducing our special guest today, Patty Hawkins from GalaxyCon Online. How you doing there, Patty? And tell us a little bit about GalaxyCon for those of our viewers and listeners who may not be familiar with it and what you do there.
GalaxyCon is a series of physical conventions spun off by the original co-founders of SuperCon, if you're familiar with that. It was a national chain. And then, of course, since the world is not as sociable as it once was, GalaxyCon took the initiative to going into online formatting the programming with the idea that it's not just wedged into one weekend where some other shows are doing, hey, we're doing a whole show online and you can watch this on Twitch and watch this on YouTube, whatever. Instead, we're doing very controlled, very finite amount of programming every weekend.
Right.
Every weekend we have up to like 4 or 5. Like Fridays we may have one. Saturdays and Sundays we have like 2 or 3 each day. I had 4 on Sunday this past Sunday. So it entails a free online Q&A with the cast, and I usually host. And afterwards, fans have the opportunity throughout the show. You have the opportunity to purchase autographs. They can be personalized. So we have try to get a wide selection of stuff. Oh, I want that one. And can you make it out to Joe, your number one fan? And yeah, they will say to Joe, my number one fan. They'll do that, I think, within reason. And we actually now have a send-in option too. There's various criteria about it. But yes, you can send in an item. You can send in a sonic screwdriver. You can send this all the way to. And we've got a really good system of getting it to the celebrity and then send it back. I won't say it's fast. It'll take 6 to 8 weeks possibly in some cases, but you will get the item, you will get it safe. And and of course we usually also have the option of personal chats, or as I like to say, if you'd like to chat with one of our panelists like I am now, sign up, and that immediately follows the Q&A. So you can, time is usually either 2 to sometimes 4 minutes depending on the celebrity and whatnot. And they have the ability to extend as well. The celebrity has a little button that they can push that'll do 10 seconds add-on. So if you're in the middle of telling a really deep, real heavy story, and then, every day I would go to hospice and I'd show my dad the episodes and it got through him. And then one day he said, "Thank you for watching. That's all." No. We have minders in the room that you'll be able to tell that story. You'll be able to give it to and stuff like that. So it's been very popular. And like I said, it's in the words of the owner, it's keeping the lights on until real conventions can come back. Although right now it looks like this may be the new model. Even when different conventions come back, we may go ahead and keep this format anyway, because the nice thing is that we're, as I say at the top of the hour, we're bringing the convention experience to you. So we're able to bring that experience to people who, because of their location or maybe because of some personal challenges of their own, they just can't do it. But instead, they're able to do it in the online format. And I think so far, because we'll do it. Also, our Q&As are live. We have a live chat room. We have people that it's not you tweet in and pre-recorded. No, it's happening in real time. So, and that's all, and I think that's one thing that we do that nobody else really does. It's always sort of pre-recorded, and so if somebody farts, it's we'll edit that out. But
I just need leeway to the commercial. I think I
don't know about that yet. But I'm just imagining.
Nobody's farted yet on any of my panels. I noticed we put up at the end. Somebody wanted to see the One Piece panel. We had a funny thing there that somebody, Steven Skipper, the One Piece one. We had 6 people on. Somebody's microphone was faulty and making this weird clattering background noise.
Oh God!
So we were trying to figure out what it was. So I turned it into a game. I threw the challenge out to our audience. If you could deduce which one of our panelists it is, and they figured it out before I could, because I was just too busy running the conversation and stuff. And it's a nice thing that I'm not going to say anything can happen. But when something odd happens, we embrace it. We go forward. We have fun with it, and and you're not. I don't think you're going to see that in a pre-recorded one. And all right, this was tweeted in 8 weeks ago. What's your favorite episode? Yeah.
Now, what do you recommend if somebody wants to get a better chance? Because I know, first of all, you want, let me just make sure that I'm getting this right. You want to be there as early as possible. You want to get in that room early as possible, because if you're late, you're going to miss a lot of good stuff. You're going to miss a lot of good information that comes up if you want to get and purchase some of the items, like the one-on-one chats or the autographs. But if somebody wants to get their question in, what would you recommend to them?
Here's what our team looks for. We look for we tend to shy away from real deep, heavy, canonical questions. Hey, episode 147, this happened, and what did you think of that, or whatever. And also too, we definitely look for questions that involve the entire panelist. So we try to do that ahead of time. People will try to say, and especially with this event with Matt Smith himself, who's going to be joining us for the first time. And in a live situation, you see that usually often. People say, this question is for Matt, this question for so-and-so. And if you see me run my panels, I tell everybody ahead of time, you have to present a question towards the entire panel. Now, 99% of the time, that question can easily be tweaked a little bit to involve them. You know, it's like, if you think about it, it's like, oh yeah, this question could be good for everybody. So that's the one thing we look for. We look for very broad questions that are more to spark a conversation, and that will involve everyone. Maybe not necessarily with Doctor Who. Could be a question about their personal lives. Some people like to ask, hey, how have you kept busy during COVID or quarantine or whatever? That elicits some really interesting stories. We really tend to skew to talking to them as people. We really do. We talk to them as people. We talk to the roles they played as a job. And dang cat screaming in the background. Is that mine?
Hey, let's play a game, everybody. Let's figure out who's got a cat screaming in the background on this show.
It's usually mine. And when it was brought up, Colin Baker was looking under his desk. And he was like, what's up, Colin? It's like, I'm looking for the cat. Oh, no. I'm
surprised nobody could hear that, because I was like,
just mention it up there. And speaking of mention it, for those of you who are just joining us, you can talk to us and Patty live here in the live chat if you're joining us on the YouTube channel or on Facebook, the StreamYard, or even on the Twitch channel, which we just recently got there. Type in your chats, and if we like your question, you're going to be on here. So we do it on StreamYard, so it is this format. Right.
It is this format. So it's just that we have our own private chat room that when you register, you get a link, you click on that. We usually try to open the chat room about a half hour ahead of time. And the nice thing is that we love when they're bouncing stuff. Everybody's bouncing stuff in there too. And I can't see the chat room, but our producers will let me know, hey, the chat room is going crazy. They want to see this or want to do that or whatever. So
right.
Again, and it's wise to sign up early to get that link for the chat room. Don't wait to the last minute, because Lord knows how many other people, if you've got other, hundred of people all signed up at the same time, might not get that link in 20 minutes.
I'm not going to say that there have been some odd issues lately, not just with us, but I think a lot of people with StreamYard or whatever so just try to sign up and get the link. And if you don't get the link within 24 hours, email GalaxyCon directly and just say, hey, I never got my confirmation link, and they will attend it to you right away. So, because I think this is going to be really fun. Like I said, we've hosted everybody else, and when the boss finally told me, he's like, all right, we got Matt Smith finally coming. It's like, okay, we're gonna do him solo, or are we gonna do him with the whole gang? It's like, I'm gonna try to bring in the whole family. And we got close. He really tried to get Alex Kingston. She had another commitment. Otherwise, that would have been and maybe this goes well, but certainly do another one. So
I would imagine doing the scheduling for virtual cons is a little bit easier to get the planets to align, rather than trying to get them all to fly out to New Orleans or all, that kind of deal.
Yeah. Well, it's tricky because usually, the advantage of the physical ones is usually get that in writing a year and a half ahead of time. Sometimes that, of course, can just be bugged by, I booked a commercial, or I'm at this, or just whatever. Yeah, absolutely too. Yes, this format does tend to be able to get stopped by 2. Oh, okay, I gotta get up here or whatever. It's like, oh, I thought it was 9:00 my time. Oh, 5 a.m.
And in this day and age, when they're looking for work right now, and they are looking for work, if they get work, they got to feed, they got to live, they got to do stuff. So it's totally understandable.
And they enjoy it, and they like bouncing off each other, and they just they can be comfortable where they're at. And if there's always something interesting that pop in the background, I'll be like, "What's that you got behind there?" Oh, hey, that's from that play you did in West End. Tell us about that. Oh, yeah, this old thing, whatever. When I did John Barrowman, he lifted up his laptop and walked around his whole
the tour.
Stately Barrowman Manor. And,
toward the Bowerman Manor.
Nice. It's walking through this way too. It's a original poster for Day the Earth Stood Still, one of my favorite movies, blah, blah. And here's Forbidden Planet, and I held up my Robbie the Robot, and he's like, I have one of those. I wish we could put that in pop. Like I said, I don't know if this panel will be allowed to be dropped on our YouTube channel. Like I said, some are, some aren't. It is all on the contracts and what goes on with it. So, and I never know until I just never see it. So.
Speaking of feeding people, we got a commercial break. We're on a hard break. But for those of you just joining us who may not, this is Mr. Patty Hawkins. He is the host of GalaxyCon Online. And this Saturday at noon, you definitely want to sign up. And if you look at the website out there, GalaxyCon.com, make sure you sign up. Make sure you're in there ahead of time, because those things will go fast, especially now that this is going to be Matt Smith's first GalaxyCon. Go to GalaxyCon.com and meet the cast of Doctor Who, which include Karen Gillan, Jenna Coleman, Matt Smith himself, and Arthur Darvill. When we return, please continue to stay logged on, tune in, and we're going to continue our chat and our tribute to Matt Smith when we return to the legend of the traveling TARDIS. Please become part of the legend.
Bateman.
What's the Bateman?
A novel set in Florida, written by Florida author D.L. Havlin. Suspense, mystery, and murder.
Evidence is in the bait.
The Bateman is available at local bookstores and online.
Author Cindy Kep is writing on the edge. Books include Remnant in the Stars, The Loudest Actions, Lines of Succession, Mindstorm, Condemned Courier, the Yerushalayim series, and Animal Eye. Find author Cindy Kep at CKOEPP.com today. Jackie Sonnenberg's My Soul to Keep is a ghost story rooted in the realities of actual cults. When 13-year-old Sky Monroe arrives at her new boarding school, all she can think about is death and connecting with the afterlife. Soon she discovers her school's spirituality group, the Guardians of Light, and they have a secret. They can speak with the dead, and the organization is a cult. But this isn't Sky's only problem. The campus house where Sky resides is haunted, and even the ghosts have an agenda. They intend on getting the souls they want. Filled with mystery and intrigue plucked straight from the headlines, author Jackie Sonnenberg's research and attention to detail give this ghost story an even more eerie atmosphere. Find My Soul to Keep on Amazon.com today. Deborah Parmley's Jenna's Christmas Wish.
Santa, if there's one thing I want for Christmas more than anything, it's someone to spend Christmas with. Someone who really wants me to be there.
Head to the mountains of East Tennessee with romance author Jenna Hart for a Christmas writer's workshop. Since her mother passed after a long illness, Jenna has had one wish. She doesn't want to spend Christmas alone. Meeting Niccolo Maldini, cover model and actor, could make more than Jenna's Christmas wish come true. Unless Ember, Niccolo's ex-girlfriend, does something crazy to stop them from being together. It's a mountain Christmas romance you won't want to miss in Deborah Parmley's Jenna's Christmas Wish, Now on Amazon.com.
You know, Melanie McKenzie, I actually saw the last episode of Game On, which Dave had a little bit of a technical problem trying to start the show. And I still give him a razz for over that. So I'm just letting Dave know that I saw it. I saw it there. Speaking of saw it, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel or the Facebook page or on our Twitch channel, please don't thank us. Thank our friends at geekinsider.com. Geekinsider.com. Subscribe and tell them the Legend of the Traveling Tardis sent you.
At Geek Insider, we foster relationships with those in the geek sphere so we can give our audience the insider view of entertainment, tech, and more.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Legend of the Traveling Tardis. My name is Christian Basil. I'm here with all these wonderful people, Melanie Dean, Mackenzie Floor, and Patty Hawkins, the host of GalaxyCon Online. GalaxyCon Online, you can check him out and everything he does, hosting his hosting duties at GalaxyCon.com. There, don't forget to subscribe. And again, if you're just joining us, we had a special going on at GalaxyCon with 4 of the celebrities from Doctor Who, including for his very first time, Matt Smith, Jenna Coleman, Arthur Darvill, and Karen Gillan will be there Saturday, December 12th at noon Eastern Standard Time, noon p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure after this show you sign up at GalaxyCon.com. And welcome Patty there. So I guess, normally we do the TARDIS thing, and I don't know if I want to do a TARDIS rating on Matt, because I kind of like Matt. But what do you guys think? Do you want to do a TARDIS rating on Matt? You just want to give it a shot? It's like, no, Mackenzie, you don't want.
Is that like?
I don't know. What?
It's
like how many TARDISes?
Yeah.
From what scale? 1 to 5, 1 to 10?
1 to 10. 1 being.
Yeah, I'm like overall arc. I mean, it's just like any other. For me, I'm like he's like any other Doctor. He's got strong episodes.
Yeah.
He's got episodes.
Yeah,
sometimes
exactly.
because his writing. Sometimes it was just like the whole thing was kind of like. Just not my cup of tea. So yeah, I kind of stay away from rating personally.
Okay.
Sorry.
We'll stay away from the rating, but I'm going to follow up on you, Melanie. What did you think of Matt's portrayal of the 11th Doctor? And when you first saw him come online, what did you think? What was your first impression of Matt?
He, like any other Doctor, I think he really did make it his own. It was very unique. I think one thing that Matt's portrayal kind of separated for me, kind of separated his Doctor from everybody else, is that he really had this feeling of an old, ancient being trapped in a young man's body. And not just because he was the youngest Doctor ever or actor portraying the Doctor, but in the, this ancient centuries old being. He had a lot of mannerisms that were very old or unique to somebody like an old man. That's just different way around it. Different ways that he would just simply just kind of like not really speak or anything, but it would like to turn on his heel or do a like slow kind of mannerisms kind of thing. So I think that was the thing that I noticed the most when he first got into the role. And just like every other Doctor, it's as you got to the few seasons under the belt, you got to see them hit their stride and do what they do so best, and in their portrayal.
Yeah. Mackenzie, I know you would have given Matt a 10.
Sure.
Kind of wearing his outfit right there. Mackenzie, you see Matt Smith come up. He gets up after David Tennant regenerates. And what was your first impression when he first says Geronimo in that first episode that he does? The 11th Hour.
I always get crucified for telling this story, but I didn't like him.
You're not the only one. No.
You're dressed like him.
What?
No. And Mackenzie, I was actually going to say that because there are people I know who left Doctor Who for a while. They left, but then came right back after a couple episodes. It wasn't their cup of tea after the 11th hour, but as soon as they got out past the Beast Below, they started to kind of warm up. When I think it was, what was it? The Victory of the Daleks. They kind of started warming up. So you say you didn't like him. So when did he start warming up to you?
Actually, it was when I got to meet him, which was right before the Christmas episode at the end of his tenure. And the reason why I didn't like him, it wasn't him as personal or the actor necessarily or the writing. It was, for me, from a mental health perspective, I had a very difficult time adjusting between David's doctor, who was very much, I called him kind of the emo doctor, to Matt, who was like, wah! You know, I just couldn't, for me, from a mental health perspective, I just could not understand the difference until actually I had a mental breakdown myself. And then after, as my way of coming back, I actually looked to his doctor, and that helped me become who I became. And that's probably one of the reasons why when I became a writer, I chose to write my main character of The Right of Wands for literally Matt, as well as for my TV screenplay that I'm trying right now to find some producers for, that I wrote it that way too. And I plan on sticking it that way too.
I'm getting a bit of a feedback here.
It's not me.
It's not me.
It might be me if I hit the desk.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
If I hit the dust, let's see.
If you hit the dust?
Yeah, I just did it.
Oh, that's okay. Still a little bit. Let me. We'll try something over here. But first, we got a question out there. Yet it is from our YouTube channel. Matt Smith was my first doctor and will always have a special place in my heart. Oh, that's awesome. So this panel sounds amazing. Well, thank you. Question for you all. Do you guys have a favorite 11th Doctor scene? Patty, since you're up, might as well go ahead. What is your favorite 11th Doctor scene? Can't pick one. I'm like, yeah, here we go.
To be almost to just okay for just my favorite, and maybe not something that's bombastic or important or anything else. I really liked his reading on the Ice Warrior, the one when he finds out the Ice Warrior is Skaldax, and the shoot about it's like hero of the Phobos heresy. You know, it's like leader of the Phoenician army. You know, he's like scared and reverent at the same time because he knows this thing is the equivalent of Napoleon and Patton and the Ice Warrior architect. It just I that one lingers. That one still lingers. It's a good reading. It's a powerful scene, and it may not be everyone's favorite because it's not like, you know, oh well, so something from the 50th or whatever. But yeah, I'll go with that one.
Gotcha.
I'll go with that one.
Melanie, what was your favorite Matt Smith scene? Yeah. I'm saving Mackenzie for last
because just trying to go through now everything that I'm trying.
I'm saving Mackenzie for last because I know she's got at least 10 minutes to think about this. Yeah, exactly.
This is difficult because I'm like trying to go, okay, something from the Vincent and the Doctor. I'm like, no, my favorite part of that wasn't him. It was Bill Nighy's speech about Vincent. It just this is difficult.
Wow. Okay, Melanie, I'll get back to you. Mackenzie, do you have one that jumps out and just says, hey, this is the moment. This is my 11th Doctor scene?
For me, I would have to say it has to do when the paradox was happening and that big scene where he jumps up and starts talking to the world.
The Stonehenge scene.
Yeah, the Stonehenge. That was, for me, I think that was the moment when I was like, oh, yes, the Doctor. I see the Doctor. And especially during the second run through when I did it, I loved it at that point. Of course, I always loved Rivers. When he's with River, if River's involved, it makes it better.
What spoke to you to that scene? What came out on there? Because I know you have a special connection for the 11th Doctor. What spoke to you amongst that scene, amongst the other scenes that he's done?
Probably with that one, it was just the whole aspect of saying, like, you know, the world is against me. Come get me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I feel too for myself as a writer, is when I write something, I feel, because a lot of times as a writer, some writers, they don't actually publish because they're afraid that they're going to get a bad review. And I more look at it as, come at me. If you're going to give me a bad review or whatever, come at me. I can take it. So in that way, it makes me feel like the Doctor is saying the same thing, being brave, really showing that heroism.
Get a bad review. Just put videos on YouTube, and trust me, you'll get enough to toughen yourself up.
Oh yeah, I've done that already. Actually, I'm a content creator, so I do that.
Yeah, but I actually don't. I never read YouTube comments.
I try not to.
I downloaded a browser app that specifically blocks all comments on YouTube. I can go to any YouTube channel on my desktop, and I never see the comments ever.
I wish that I had something like that, because they tell you as a writer, you should never read your reviews or respond to them. I don't respond to them, but I do read all of them, just because I think that there might be something that'd be helpful. But when you come across that one that is just completely just destroys everything that you've done, just because whatever,
have a friend read them.
Yeah.
And if they see a pattern, then they'll give it to you, and they'll know you well enough to know that your main character, you kept saying that he did this, and it got a little repetitious. It's just like he put a piece of gum in his mouth, put a piece of gum in his mouth. That was, and I know other people in the situation too that they do have that. They have one good friend that they trust, read the reviews, and then if there's any value to it, or there's like, you might want to try doing this. As opposed to if you read the review,
Yeah, that was the last review I actually read, was just like that.
Melanie, have you figured out what you think?
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I had to kind of think about it. And I'm still thinking about it. Let's go with the snowman. Between him and towards the very end, where he is kind of jockeying off of the great intelligence. Mm-hmm. It was McKellen going back
Ian
and forth.
McKellen.
Him coming in and then playing the Sherlock music. I thought that was a fun little thing with Moffat going, I can do this and make this crossover because I do this. I own both of these. No. Own asterisk. But no, I'll just kind of go with that interplay between the two, because I think he was very much in his element as a little goofy, a little bit more kind of flamboyant in his mannerisms and to complement what he was articulating, but also bring a little bit more gravity to the situation, because he's yelling at a big bad. So I'll go with there.
Gotcha.
There.
How
about you, Christian?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Patty.
Yeah.
When we return to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, we got a commercial break. Please continue to stay logged on, tuned in, and you're going to find out what my favorite moment is of Matt Smith when we return. And don't forget to sign up. And I noticed that somebody in the chat has already signed up. I think it was Steven Skipper. Yeah, somebody signed up for GalaxyCon. There it is. Steven Skipper just signed up. When we return, please continue to stay logged in, tune in, and become part of the legend.
Alien invaders enslave Earth,
unleashing hunters into the ruined wastes.
One young survivor struggles to elude their monsters, clinging to hope.
When he's stolen off the planet by a sarcastic starship AI, they pit their uneasy alliance against a treacherous galaxy.
Explore a whole new verse of barbarism and betrayal.
Wonder and adventure.
In the Scion series
by Michael J. Allen.
Beginning with Book 1, Scion Conquered Earth.
Available in print, ebook, and audio on Amazon.com.
Experience Samara's adventure as she imagines the people around her change into friendly cartoon animals right before her eyes. Journey with her in this poetic tale, My Cartoon Imagination at School.
Now on Amazon.com, iCoin from author Jeremy Mosby. It's an alternate reality, and the leader of the planet iCoin is none other than Benjamin Franklin. When corrupt officials threaten not only iCoin but the Earth as well, an unlikely chosen one, Jeremy, must face dark foes to save the Earth and iCoin alike. Author Jeremy Mosby takes readers on a superhero's adventure through this compelling and imaginative alternate universe. Get iCoin on Amazon.com today.
Meet the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor.
But not the one you were expecting.
All right, sexy. It's time to go home.
Doctor Who Velocity. Streaming now.
Hi. Were you guys waiting for me to answer that question? Good, because we just have one more thing to mention out there. For those of you who may not be aware, we now have a merchandise shop for the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. There is a link right there. And until December the 15th, we are having a 20% off sale off of everything. For whatever reason, the skateboards are not included, but everything off of our merchandise shop. Go ahead and check out our link out there. And if you decide to purchase more than $99, shipping is completely free. You can check out some of the stuff like we have masks, we have t-shirts, and we have some other stuff you want to choose out there. So go to the link out there. It is the threadless link, and we'll have it posted on the episode if you want to check it out later. This show doesn't pay for itself. So if you guys want to check it out there, go to the link provided over there. Everything's 20% off up until December the 15th. For all your Whovian friends out there, check it out there at the threadless.com shop. Thank you for joining us there. Everybody's come back. My name is Christian Basil. I've got Melanie Dean. I've got Mackenzie Floor. No, that is not Matt Smith in the corner, but just as lovely. And we have host of GalaxyCon Online,
GalaxyCon Live.
GalaxyCon Live?
Yeah. That's the official. It's saying that it's online. And to respond to Jenny's question, real quick here, Jenny, when the chat room opens a half hour before the Q&A, the chat room will open, and you just go on in there and you just type on in, hey, I have a question, and just type it on through, and our producers will look at it, and if they decide it's a good enough question, they'll roll it through and it'll scroll down at the bottom of it. So I look forward to hopefully saying, hey, this comes from Jenny and she wants to know da-da-da-da-da-da. So that's how it is. Yeah.
And again,
it's done in the chat room.
Okay.
Also, too, if people, we also look at, I believe the team also looks at, if somebody asks a question, if somebody else responds, ooh, that's a good one. I hope they pick that one. That's something else that may elevate the chances of getting the question in.
And again, most likely, if it's a question that's generic to everybody, there's more of a chance that your question will get up front there.
Very much so.
As opposed to specifically somebody out there. They want to make sure that all the attendees get a say.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something that just constantly and it comes on, and we try to tell people that up front, and they'll still like, this question is for so and so, or not thinking about it. It's something that really gets involved deep. Just last week with William Shatner and Kate Mulgrew, people were throwing questions on that they thought in their minds it was relevant, but it really wasn't for both. So
kind of like hey, it's my birthday, say happy birthday to me.
Yeah, you have to get a private chat for them to
there
say
you go.
That.
Yeah.
Or just pick go to their Cameo accounts. Yeah, we don't do the private shout outs, but the nice thing, I will say this much too about the chats that we do, they are recorded for you. Like 20 minutes after they're done, you get a copy of it. So it's like it's you talk, the guest is full screen, and your little sub screen is up in the upper half on the left hand corner. So you get that as well.
And
I did see. Sorry.
Okay. No, go ahead.
No, I did see that now that it's something new-ish that maybe I just haven't seen before, and it's virtual photo ops.
Yes. Basically, so instead of I've got a chat, you just get ready, and they come on, and you're like click like this, so they're like, hey, and they get that moment. There's a couple of options. I'll be totally honest. I'm not 100% privy on the exact details, but as I understand it, it's it's almost like a real photo op. It's the same technology as the private chats, but it's like the real professional photo op. You go on in, you take the shot, thank you, and I love you, thank you.
Yeah.
Next. Exactly.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Yeah.
Ho.
Yeah, and it's so funny too, and I know we talked about this when this starts back again, like doing like little instruction videos for photo ops for people to do. Hey, just so you don't know this works, you go in, you take the shot, you can say hi, you can say thank you, and that's kind of about it.
Yeah, that's all the time you have.
That's kind of about it. Now maybe the guest might take a shine to you, and they'll do it too. I know at another convention, Jeff Goldblum just completely blew the schedule because he was just like, hey, I really like your outfit. Yeah. So so he just, nobody explained to him how it worked.
So that was like 4 photos right there.
All wound up, and his Q&A ended up being like 15 minutes. It was like, hey, everybody, yes, I'm really here. If you can't see me at the end of the line, and okay, bye. So.
Oh, my God.
I can see that. No, I can see that. I was like, he's scheduled for 2 hours to do photo. He ends up doing 6 hours because he's still on like number 5 on the lineup.
Because he just didn't. Like nobody explained to him how it's supposed to work.
And he's actually having a conversation.
Yeah, and that's not to prevent people from having fun and everything else. It's just we get these are the datas, then we got to have you back on the table so we can do the autographs, and that's when we could usually, in a perfect world, you can have a little more. Hey, how you doing? Okay, that's good. That's fine. Although some A-listers, sometimes it's just who's this for? Just okay, whatever. But yeah, that's the old days and the once and future conventions. Right now, we're in this amazing cyber age. So, and Christian, you owe us an answer.
Yeah, I do owe you an answer out there. I also want to thank Mackenzie and Melanie and Dave for doing last week's episode. I'm kidding. I just wanted to thank you guys for doing last week's episode.
You're welcome. Answer.
You're welcome.
Well, here's the reason why. I'm actually following on Mackenzie's The Pandorica speech, but I'll explain. Because I convinced Wonder Woman to watch Doctor Who via that speech. What happened is that I was actually next to when we were at conventions, I was at a booth next to a cosplayer who was cosplaying Wonder Woman. And she legitimately came, she wanted to know legit. She was like, I've never watched Doctor Who. Can you, she was trying to like convince me to watch Doctor Who, what's so great about it. And just happened to be, there was a monitor next to me. And at the time that it was playing the Pandorica speech with Matt Smith on there. So I explained to her in Wonder Woman terms how my doctor is the best character out there. And I explained to her, I said, could you I asked her, I said, I'm assuming Wonder Woman is your favorite character. She goes, yes. And I said, could you imagine Wonder Woman taking her gauntlets off, throwing down the lasso, taking the crown off, standing on top of the rock, and everybody around her, I don't know her from her bad guys offhand, but like Cheetah, everybody she's ever fought is standing right around her, and they could lash at her at any given moment. They could rip her apart, but they don't. They just decide to stand there. And she says the most ultimate thing you could say to all of your bad guys at the same time. In fact, we know the cards are down on her. If we're playing a game of Texas Hold'em, she's not only holding a 2-7 off suit, but she's convinced all the bad guys she's got a royal flush in the game. And then she says the one thing to the other bad guys, let somebody else try first. And they all back away. And I explained to her, this is the doctor. This is how he works. His name alone resonates throughout the universe. And it scares and terrifies people and is loved and beheld by others. Just by the name alone that we saw in River Song, A Good Man Goes to War. Mm-hmm. This is the kind of thing that the Doctor has become. He is the alien that can terrify people by name alone and just by his stature. And he can tell the worst enemies at the worst time. They could have killed him. All it did was one shot, but everybody was so scared of him that they backed off, even though they knew they could just take one shot and get him. But they didn't. And that to me is my
remember who it was who beat you.
You remember it is who it was who beat you. Remember every black day that I've stopped you. And that's how I convinced Wonder Woman to watch. Now, I don't know if she's still there. I haven't seen her at the conventions. But she said, okay, I'm going to start watching now. I used her Wonder Woman, her geekdom of Wonder Woman to show her what Doctor Who was. So that's why I hit that one.
Yeah. Now, Wonder Woman's rogues is a very shallow bench. I mean, she's literally got like 5.
Okay.
Cersei, Ares, Dr. Psycho, Cheetah, Giganta, and then Dr. Cyber.
Hey, it was my story. I had to explain it.
Again, I was like,
I convinced her.
And Egg Fu, who nobody talks about anymore in our enlightened times, and I'll leave it at that. Google it, and Yeah, don't say I didn't warn you.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, yet it is. Says that wonderful answer to my admittedly confusing question, guys. Thank you. My personal favorite 11th Doctor moment would be his monologue from the Rings of Akatan, or "Feared me, I killed them all," which I think is the best retort to House when he was going like, "I fear me, I've killed thousands of Time Lords," and the Doctor goes, "Fear me, I killed them all." So,
Yeah.
So I think it was just brilliantly done because he had the advantage. Matt had the advantage of Moffat's writing and Moffat's love for Doctor Who, and that translated, especially into The Doctor's Wife, all these great stories that. But I digress. That he kind of had those moments where it kind of got a little bit weirded, like the Pandorica, but I still, I appreciated that because there were all these wonderful moments, like the Pandorica, like the moment that he's facing off House.
I will honestly say there are more very, very pleasurable a la carte moments in Matt Smith's tenure than I think put together stories.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense. There's lots of really, this was a great scene, this was a good moment, there was a lot of really good stuff there too, but a lot of them it just seemed like, and that's on Moffat. That's not on the actors, that's not anything else, that's on Moffat. And again, I've said this before, where he had too much investiture in the companions with an almost mania to Clara is going to be the greatest companion ever. And
yeah,
and you saw that on the 50th, which was like, all right, instead of it's all right, we gotta have Clara in there, and Russell T Davies invested heavily in Rose, so we had to have her in there as the moment. And it's like I'm okay with these companions, but I just to this day I'm literally like 51%, 49% split on the 50th. And I don't know, and it wavers in various days. About every 18 months, I'll revisit it. And I'm like, okay, this is 51% awesome and 49% I have problems with. And then it goes back and forth. So
I got to give Moffat a little bit, I value your opinion on that, at Patty. I can also see, a lot of the challenges that Moffat had that was on his table. So, there's so much we can criticize about that, but a lot of that I'm kind of happy. And I knew the 50th anniversary would have to be fan service in some form or fashion. Tom Baker walks in and says his line. And I remember I was in a room with Whovians, and they all exploded. Some of them even started to cry. I'm like, what the heck? They were just getting teary-eyed. We knew that 50th anniversary was going to be fan service. The story was kind of iffy, but I loved it just the same. And we got Capaldi eyes from it. And we got David Tennant and Matt Smith and John Hurt, having it out.
Again, so lots of great character moments, lots of great scenes, the narratives.
Yeah.
And even going back into the day, I've always said this before. Moffat is fantastic at writing these good emotional scenes, but I think he leaned too heavily on it and narrative logic. He kind of eschewed that to just get to these emotional beat scenes and not caring how he got there to it. The same way when you write a slasher, Friday the 13th, a horror movie. You throw out narrative logic so that Jason could chop off somebody's head, with an outboard motor or something. Let's go make out in the boathouse, Yeah.
You're just trying to plot filler. It's filler to get to the next kill.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And I really felt like that Moffat, whether he knew it or not, he early on, he recognized, when we have a really emotional scene and power this way too. And sometimes it serves it very well. Like I said, I consider the wedding episode of Sherlock to be one of the finest bits of television writing of the 21st century. The speech he does in there too, and he's got some wonderful scenes there too. I wish I could have been in the room and say, maybe we could do this. Maybe can we have the other doctors do something? Give them a day pay rate. So this is me.
I will say I
agree with you 100% there.
to not think companions, because after a while, Clara just grated on me, mostly in the Capaldi's run. I loved whenever Matt Smith's doctor interacted with the Paternoster gang. I think that was a little bit more fun because you had a little bit more, not chemistry, but it was more fun because you had an ensemble, and he really worked well against other characters in an ensemble.
This is not a nudge on Jenna Coleman because she's going to be there this weekend.
No, and she's lovely.
No, this is to me on Moffat. I loved Snowman Clara. I understood why she wanted to run into the TARDIS. I loved Dalek Clara. I could understand why she wanted to get into the TARDIS. But Clara Prime, I had some really misgivings because the writing was not supporting why she wanted to run into the TARDIS. In fact, there were times that she wanted to run out of the TARDIS. I'm like, so why are you getting in here? But I love the way that Jenna and Matt had worked on the Snowmen. It was just so brilliant how they were just matched up with each other. They worked together. And even though it was kind of teetering on lovey-dovey, it didn't get into there. It didn't seem it wouldn't get into there. And then they killed her off. And it just like, same thing with Dalek Clara. There was some flirtation. There was some fun. But I understood why she wanted to run into the TARDIS, and she didn't even know she was in a Dalek. So, but I mean, that's a testament to Jenna Coleman and the way that she interacted with Matt. It was just a fun experience.
I will say, in Moffat's defense, I will defend him on one point during his tenure that a lot of people send a crap on, and that is I loved the Paradigm Daleks.
Taste the rainbow.
Get killed by the rainbow, you know. I had absolutely no problem with them. I like the fact that colors were down before. Oh no, this makes perfect sense. Okay, you can see a bunch of a red tide of soldier Daleks coming through, and okay, and I love the knowledge of the Dalek Eternal, which was just a backdoor for some asshole they wanted to do plot-wise later. But I like the idea of like, wow, like a Dalek Pope, you know? Just, something really...
In the Pope Mobile.
Yeah, just something really just odd as it is of it too. And it didn't take. And I thought it could have been somewhere. I will always say, like, I had your back on that all the way, bro.
I tell you, when you compare it to their previous one, especially the victory of the Daleks, it kind of felt like, okay, it looks like now we're staring at Care Bears with plungers. I wanted it to work. I wanted it so much to work, but it just didn't seem like they were more menacing. And now I'm getting, the new Daleks that are coming out for. Was it Revolution? No, can't even remember. Revolution of the Daleks. That they put out and they have this like blue light special thing going on their neck, and I'm just like, okay. And somebody actually sent me a picture of Tron, and I'm like, oh, they're Tron Daleks. Do they have the little? Did they have the discs on their back so they can throw them?
They make 90-degree turns.
Exactly.
We actually have a Tron reunion on December 26th at noon. Yeah, we've got the three principals. We've got Bruce Boxleitner, who Christian and I have sat with before, and he's just fantastic. Sidney Morgan, and of course David Warner, who, as we all know, is one of those guys that's been in probably about 80% of anything we love.
Yes.
I hate you. David Warner, really? Throw that at me. Speaking of throwing at me, we're on a commercial break. When we return, we're going to wrap up our discussion. Don't forget to go to GalaxyCon.com to register and get signed up. And you want to sign up right away. When we return, please continue to stay logged on, tune in, and continue to become part of the legend.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
Author Cindy Kep is writing on the edge.
Books include Remnant in the Stars, The Loudest Actions, Lines of Succession, Mindstorm, Condemned Courier, the Yerushalayim series, and Animal Eye. Find author Cindy Koepp at CKOEPP.com today.
If anything you must understand, it is this. If I do not find a cure, my life is forfeit.
Mirta McKinnon, rise. It is your time to participate in the Rite of Wands, in which your soul shall face the ultimate analysis. Do you accede?
Yes. This can't be the way things end.
Heed my advice, young warlock. The future you saw is only a possibility. You will be given the ability to change it.
How?
I suggest you start by studying your father's potion books.
Lachlan the Shreya has come to Iverna. I must focus solely on my work. I am afraid. I do not want to fail.
And you can pick up a copy of The Rite of Wands by me, Mackenzie Floor, at Amazon.com and MackenzieFloor.com, as well as Barnes & Noble, any place you would like to see your book at. You can find it.
I really like that you're doing that in the 11th Doctor's outfit.
Right.
I don't know why.
I kind of, when you told that Wonder Woman story, I was like, oh my gosh, I had a similar experience, because when I do any type of book signing, I'm actually usually dressed as the 11th Doctor, because I find most of my people like Doctor Who. So of course it makes sense. I had, I want to say 3 people within the last year that they didn't know who Matt Smith was. They didn't know what Doctor Who was. They just were really taken by the outfit, and they loved that I was carrying this wand. And so I ended up having to tell the story about how the character of Mirta was written for Matt. Later on, they come around a couple Comic-Cons later, find me, they go, hey, you know what? I just wanted to tell you, I want to meet Matt Smith, and I want you there too, so that we can all have a photograph together. I'm like, seriously? So
there you go.
There, yeah.
Now, have you considered dressing like Wonder Woman?
Yes.
I could probably pull it off.
There we go.
I would have to get a wig, but that's okay.
Well, you keep it red because you could be the Artemis version of Wonder Woman when she took the title in the 90s.
That's true. I could.
Just saying.
Got Carl Witzman saying, wasn't the idea of the OG Daleks to destroy the colorful Daleks a representation of current political climate?
Yeah.
Oh, it's subtle. Yeah,
it was partially that, and also, which was a fun fact, is Clara, the version that you like, Christian, was actually the version of Clara that was supposed to continue on with Matt. But unfortunately, the power to be said, no, you can't have that version of Clara. So that's the reason why she got killed off, and we had the common Clara.
Oh, yeah. And
I thought they were. If that's true, that it was a political allegory, awesome. I just thought there was pushback that people just didn't. Again, there were the Tic Tacs, the Rainbow, the Power Ranger Daleks. I mean, within 36 hours, there were so many memes. It was absurd.
I just want to do this for those for our folks, just because for the photo op. So, Melanie, can you lean left? Can you go to the other way? I'm sorry, the other left. Melanie, can you go left?
You told her.
I'm sorry, Mackenzie. Can you go left? Can you go left? Not too far, Melanie. Get back in here.
What?
And Patty, can you go to the right? Can you go to the right? Because we're gonna do a screenshot. Hang on one second. Patty, can you go just a little to the right there? Because we're just gonna do something a little fun. So here it is. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There we go. There we go. Just so you had them on out there.
Wait, that's
Carl Witzman, if you're out there, please take a picture. There you go.
There we go.
Now, I hate to tell you this, but
that direction.
Oh, Carl
Carl left about 4 minutes ago.
Oh, Kevin. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. And he mentioned that we had a great discussion. Well, thank you, folks. Don't forget, again, please go to GalaxyCon.com this Saturday. For those of you who are watching live, it's December 12th, and it'll be at noon. You want to sign up, get in there, and make sure you go ahead. If you're going to purchase anything, get those early, because I actually did the Paul McGann one. I actually signed up and got one, but you have to wait. If you wait too long, you will be waiting in line like a Disney attraction. Oh my goodness! Yeah.
Oh, that's a great photo.
Photograph.
Photo.
And this was a send-in. After I hosted a while ago, I was just like, "Hey, I printed this up." I was like, "Can you slide that in?" And should I show the Katie?
Yeah.
The audience.
Okay. One again.
Yeah. Yay.
I don't see this, but I just want to mention, not in your picture there. Oh, that is gorgeous. I hate you. I swear I hate you. David Warner. I think I want to thank Kevin Daniel for giving us a super sticker. Never had that before, but thank you, Kevin. Thank you for joining us, and thank you all for joining us. Yeah, there you go.
And
thank you.
Also, and for your audience as well. It's not just Doctor Who this weekend. On Friday, 6 p.m., the cast of the video game Assassin's Creed. And Saturday at noon, Doctor Who with Jenna Coleman, Karen Gillan, Arthur Darvill, and Matt Smith. At 4 o'clock, several voice actors from the G.I. Joe cartoon. And we have a special weekend event. There's part 2 the next day. I'll get to that at 6 p.m. Saturday. Modern Disney featuring Ashley Eckstein, the voice of Ahsoka Tano, and Brett Iwan, who voices some character named Mickey somebody for Disney.
Maybe a mouse.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Brett's really a lot of fun. I've hosted him before. I've actually invited too. And at 8 p.m., Classic Disney featuring Margaret Carey, the original model for Tinkerbell. She was the one that was in the costume, and she did everything Tinkerbell did, and the animators basically used her performance as the basis of the animated Tinkerbell, as they did back in the day. So she was...
Sorry, I was thinking a ridiculous.
Well, that was December 12th. I could keep going for him. December 13th is the Addams Family Virtual Experience.
The Addams Family Virtual Experience.
There we go.
Featuring offering sentences, but the main thing is it'll be Christopher Lloyd and Christina Ricci for the Q&A. Cool. And at 4 p.m., G.I. Joe Part 2 featuring actors who played the Cobra characters from Cobra Command. And at 6 p.m., Halo featuring Steve Downes, Master Chief himself, and Jen Taylor Corterina. And there are also some other stuff that don't involve online stuff. We're doing events with several actors, including Nichelle Nichols. We're doing private signings. So we have autographs available from those actors as well. And I believe there are some mail-in options as well for your own stuff. So like I said, this is the machine.
Yes.
Or maybe this is the machine. I don't know.
Yes.
And that's just December. I mean, you keep going, and I mean, there's stuff already in January. I mean, lots of content. So make sure you go on to GalaxyCon, GalaxyCon.com or GalaxyCon Live.
Sign up.
GalaxyCon.com. Okay.
Yeah, I'm really psyched for Addams Family. That's gonna be fun.
And just a couple things before everybody leaves. We just come to the end of our show. If you want to, thank you, Kim. Got you, man. I appreciate it. Well, we appreciate it. Every little bit helps, especially if you want to check out the merch shop. You can go to our Facebook page, facebook.com, The Traveling Tardis. If you are somebody who has a product like Mackenzie and want to advertise with us, either email Sage or myself at Hanging With Show. That's HANGIN with show.com. Rates are reasonable, and anybody who sponsors with us, we're going to help you out in a big way. Don't forget to go to our YouTube channel. If you can't find us, the best way to do it is HWWS Media. You can pull us up, and there's a plethora of shows on there. I've lost count of how many shows that we got out there. And don't forget, all of you, have a safe and wonderful holiday season. please be careful out there because we want to see you in the next year. We're going to a convention, our first brick and mortar in quite some time, Central Florida Comic-Con.
This isn't your last one of the year.
No, we haven't done the cons. We're going to our first brick and morter con. Not online.
This isn't your last show of the year, though, right?
No.
We just keep going. I'm
about to say, you're like, oh, have a safe and wonderful holiday season, and we'll see you next year.
We're not that lucky. Get to that. Just so people know the upcoming shows. Next week, we're going to have Benji Clifford, who is the sound engineer and works with Nick Briggs on the Big Finish podcast. He's going to be our special guest next week. Following that will be Phantasmagoria. They're going to have a special Christmas special, and I think I think I can lock this in. It's going to be narrated by Simon Fisher Becker, or at least he's going to start the show off with that. And we might even have more information about that. It's going to be really big because something ambitious is happening, and I'm working on the rings. Finally, we're going to have our last episode of the year, which will be actually our predictions for Revolution of the Daleks, and then we are scheduled to come on right after Revolution of the Daleks premieres on BBC America. We're going to be doing a live review of that. So we're going to have a busy month, and we've got plenty of... Oh, God, why? Wait a minute. To Patty, I don't
remember what's happening here, but I'm no sucker.
Backstage, I had the green lollipop, and I was just like, hey, kryptonite lollipop!
And that's it, folks. Again, please stay safe out there. Also, check out the Facebook page because our friends who have made appearances on here, they have cameo accounts, just as Patty mentioned. Simon Fisher Becker, Russ Mullins, Ian McNeese, who was just recently on here just a couple of weeks ago. They all have cameo accounts, Churchill. And they, if you want to help them out while they're trying to get things going with their, trying to get out of the lockdown. I don't even know what for the lockdown. They said that they're not locking down celebrities right now. They're going back to filming, but it's still a slow process. Back to
filming, but it's
still a slow process.
Yeah.
To get them going out there.
Yeah, and they're a little worried too about we haven't filmed stuff, but where are we going to show it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they're like doing. I hosted one actress. I won't name her name, but she was filming the next Jurassic Park movie, and it was just like I don't know what they're gonna do with it when we're done. But that's a discussion for another day.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody, thank you for joining us. And this is the show end. If you want to stay after for the after party, please. By all means, we'll be here for just a little bit longer. Again, thank you all for joining us. Have a great day. Stay safe. Wash your damn hands, as my friend Brian K. Moore says. And
that's my line.
Really?
I've been doing that. I've been doing that from the very beginning. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care. And please keep washing those hands.
And that's how we end the show.
Nicely done.
Bravo!
I experimented with one that was like keep spread the love because we've had enough of hate, but that was just that even though it seemed generic, it was just too political, and so I just said, keep washing the hands. That works.
Wash your hands. Yeah. Wash your damn hands.
Because it's not like saying wear a mask, which is divisive and
Okay, fine.
And for those of you,
stay away from me.
And for those of you just joining us in the after party, we've stopped the recording for the audio version of our show, but the video recording will stay on just for a little extra for there. I do want to thank Kevin Daniel. That I think is our first super chat for super sticker. So thank you. Yeah, every little bit helps out there. We got a merchandise shop.
He had one comment about the lollipop. So
Kingdom Comes. Yeah, we have a merchandise shop, Patty.
That's probably stuff. Yeah, I mean, well, you got a great logo, you got a great intro, and all that stuff. I mean, no, man, you got a machine here. You got a really good machine.
On the 12th is Ashley Eckstein. She's going to be there, right? Is that okay? Okay.
Yeah, she'll be her and Brett. Her and Brett will do a duo because they're besties. So they do a lot of events together. And then at 8:00, I've got the classic Disney performers, which is 8:00 is really late, but I think they're all on the West Coast or something. So it's like 5:00 for them. So
And you had the Shat and Mulgrew. How did that go?
The Capitans.
That was very interesting. Now, Kate Mulgrew.
Yeah.
She's a very serious person, and that's not a criticism. It's just an observation. She's not given to frivolity unless she genuinely feels it at that moment. I would say. So it made the conversation with her and Shatner. It got deep. I won't say serious, but it was a grown-up conversation between two. And the nice thing is that the response to some questions went down some very interesting rabbit holes. And the really nice thing was there were a couple times where they had wildly very different philosophies of answers. And the nice thing is this is how they bounced between each other and without any sort of rancor, any sort of whatever. It was nice to see people who disagree talking nicely and sharing their points and finding that middle ground, stuff like that. And a couple times I'll jump on in and do it. But it was my first time with her, and I found her to be absolutely pleasant. She seemed to quite like me at the very beginning. She was just like, "Well, Patty, you're young and smart, you know." So I was young. She's like, "You're young and smart. You need to come to New York," you know. And I was like, "Are you gonna let me crash on your couch?" Or whatever? Right?
Yeah, there's that lockdown thing. I'm gonna have to spend a couple weeks with you.
But I look forward to an opportunity to talk to her some more. I would have loved to have had a one-on-one with her and really just go this way too. And like I said, that was my 5th time this year with William Shatner. I like him very much. He enjoys me. Like I tell people, "Oh, you like besties?" Like, no. It's again. I always choose the metaphor that I'm like a server at a restaurant, and when it comes to the GalaxyCon restaurant, he's glad that I'm his server again because we can bounce off each other. I know how he likes his drinks. I know how he likes to, and I keep it flowing along with too, and thank you very much, Patty. Wonderful job again, and so that's it. I'll take it. Yeah, the fact that William Shatner knows my name and is always glad to see me I'm good. I'm good. Knowing that Captain Kirk, is like that too. And I will say that he's gotten the reputation for being what his reputation says he is. And I personally have never experienced that. I've never experienced any sort of whatever. And I've seen him off camera. I've seen him. He's on, and when he's off, he becomes a little bit more like the 89-year-old man that he is. And I've never seen this tyrant that over the years that we've heard about. So again, but I've never had to work with him on set. I've never had to work. Yeah, there's various other things. So that's all I'll say. And he is really remarkable in the private chats. He really is a good job of having fun with people. And so again, take that up. By the same token, I had a wonderful time with Walter King, with the Babylon 5 people, and Walter did that for me. So yeah. So it's like I said, on the start. And I will absolutely say this much too. Bill is very happy to just talk about things of the day and everything else. He likes, hey Robert. He'll talk about Star Trek, but he'd rather talk about the latest book he's reading. He's a voracious reader. He's an absolutely voracious reader.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh,
and
wow.
all kinds of nonfiction stuff. And he really just absorbs it all. Bill's fascinated by the world, and he is fascinated at learning. He loves to hear about things that he doesn't know about. And he likes to that it's like, well, how does that work? How do you do this? How do you do that? He's got a wonderful curiosity.
He's got that TV show Unexplained on.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
is he still doing dressage or no? With horses, do you know?
I think he still does. I think he still does the. Is it dressage? Is the one with the little cart thing, sort of the Ben-Hur thing, but not without the spikes.
Kind of. It's very showy, where you memorize a routine, and it's very.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
I know he has his horses.
Wasn't it?
He has his horses. He loves his horses, and he has his dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And he always speaks of that. For the very, very first time I hosted him, I asked him about his passion for horses, and he went in this nice little thing about it and how they're the creatures and the nobility of them and all that stuff. So I wish I could say, hey, you said it on YouTube, but
yeah.
Well, what the amazing part is that I watched this show called The Curse of Oak Island.
Oh,
a
yeah.
bunch of guys digging for this they've been doing it for years, and I'm like, how do you afford this? By the time that you find the treasure, you probably expended it on trying to find the treasure. But the one interesting thing was he showed up. Bill Shatner shows up. He's talking to the guys. I'm just like, the hell are you doing here? So I was just like, oh, okay. But I can see his fascination, especially what was it? Because he had that TV show for a while with the strange couch where he would interview people. I think it was like the Raw Deal.
Raw Nerve.
The Raw Nerve.
Shatner's Raw Nerve. Where literally, it was like 2 seats side by side. So you were literally like this with a person, and he would go on it into it.
And it wasn't the act. It's kind of what the acting studio should be. It was just like he would dig down, but it was just like not
this. I will say this past weekend, because it was the last one we're doing for the year, I did finally have the gumption to ask him. This was at the end of it. I was like, Bill, hey, before you go, have a good holiday, all that stuff. All right, look, there's one question I'm dying to ask you, and it's so deep. It's so just crazy. I didn't even want to do it on the air, but I kind of throw this at you, and he's like, of course, Betty. It's like, all right. In 1965, he did a couple of stints on What's My Line, and he was like, the game show. And I was just saying, like, do you have any recollections of working with John Daly, the host? Because I consider John Daly to be one of my heroes in terms of a moderator or a host of some kind. I love the way he spoke. I love the way he had this wonderfully effete elite way of speaking that never came off as snobby. You know, and he was just, I think in the context you are attempting to elicit would not be considered to do. So that's 4 down and 6 to go, you know, and he just said, like, Patty, I would love to tell you a lovely story about Bennett Cerf and all of them, but they flew me out Saturday on the red eye, and they flew me out Sunday on the red eye back to LA.
Oh.
But he told me a funny story about how my dressing room, though, was up 5 flights of circular stairs. I was like, what? He goes, yeah, for some reason, there's multiple stages, but all the dressing rooms were on the 5th floor. So you had to go up there and then come back down. And
good Lord.
Yeah.
It's in a lighthouse.
That was fun. That was amusing.
That kind of like reminds me of, and this was like a decade ago, I had the awesome opportunity to fly out to Los Angeles and Las Vegas to be part of, and this is for people who watch soap operas. So if you don't watch soap operas, this is probably like, me. So on The Young and Restless, I got to see the 25th wedding anniversary of Melody Thomas Scott and her husband, Edward Scott. And we flew out, and literally when we got there, I got about 2 hours of sleep that particular night because we had to be on the set of The Young and Restless the next day. And so it was like, boom, boom, just craziness. Yeah. And then there was still a photo opportunity thing that Melody had to do. So it's like I went everywhere with her as kind of like observing everything as the web designer. It was just like, wow, all the time to just do. And it was amazing just having that little bit of experience. I was like, oh, I understand now how everything works. Like I had a better, I don't know. It seemed like I was able to just understand Hollywood better.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about Matt Smith, and I never got into the stuff that I kind of wanted to talk about, and I felt really bad because I don't want to down Matt Smith.
No, we're
but
not.
It was his time after Doctor Who, the moment that he started to flourish into movies. And does anybody remember Lost River at all? Because I haven't even seen it.
Yes,
I just remember
about it simply because it was filmed actually about an hour and a half where I worked from. So I don't know. I know in Detroit, it was filmed in Detroit, but I don't know the exact area. He had this photograph that he said, thank you. And I've been trying to figure out, I'm like, I saw this bridge in the background and I have put it on my social media. I'm like, where is this bridge in Detroit? Where is this? Because I wanted to go there and just like do a sign and just like reenact it. And course, I have not figured out what it was, but Lost River is how do I put it? It's not necessarily a bad movie, but it is a movie.
Oh, that's glowing. Oh, this is gonna get glowing.
This is coming from Mackenzie. This is coming from Mackenzie. Let me just put it this way. Let me see if it fills in the blanks there. There were two things I remember about Lost River. One, Matt Smith bulked up for this movie because he was supposed to be the bully, which he's going from Doctor Who, this wonderful, nice guy, to a bully into a movie. He's bulking up, and not only that, but the first trailer I saw, the only thing about this trailer was, look at my muscles, and he kept repeating it to the point of nausea. I'm like, this is not Matt's fault. This was his first movie out, and I was just like, oh boy.
This seems
and it's ironic too, because the Pandorica speech that we were talking about, that's actually the reason why he got that role. And Ryan Reynolds saw that, and he must approach his agent and say, would you do it? And of course, Matt wanted to do it, so he ended up shaving his hair.
Right, Ryan Gosling, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, you're fine. I wanted to. It was directed by Ryan Gosling, and just
he also wrote it, screenplay and direction by Ryan Gosling.
Reynolds now has to work with Matt in something because now I've said it. So there we go.
It wasn't that why he was like, I got bored. Yeah,
that's why he had to wear the wig, and and I remember there being a picture around the same time that he was part of Terminator, where he got all bulky and it was like, oh, in the picture.
And that was another movie that got me upset, because they were boasting that, and especially when they were interviewing Arnold Schwarzenegger, they're going like, oh yes, Doctor Who will be in our movie. And it's very, and I was just like, they were boasting, and he's he appears for 5 seconds in the beginning and then 5 minutes at the end as a hologram projection. I'm like, you really did this to Matt Smith?
Well, the same thing happened with.
Well, they were setting him up to be the big bad,
right?
If theoretically they kept going on that timeline,
right.
Yeah, there was that.
And it's so frustrating. I have to say, as probably not, well, I can not say probably, but it has to be frustrating as an actor, knowing that you have this expectation and that it just doesn't happen. And it's just like with like Terminator, he was supposed to have a much bigger role, but because the box office just did a dump, that never happened.
Right.
And then, well, Bully his character Bully. Well, I have to say this way. I had an argument, actually. I had a row with a friend who said Matt can never play a bad guy, be evil, because they always pictured him as being the goofy, doctor. And I said, no, he can do anything.
He's
really.
done Charles Manson, so he can pull it off.
He can do anything.
Yeah.
And so there ended up being the thing I remember the most about Lost River, and it is actually part of the reason why rats show up in the Right of Wands, is there's a character that he approaches and says, can I see your rat? And he has this knife, and he just slices the rat, and just something. And I'm like, I turned around to my friend. I told you, see that? I told you. Just like
doesn't gel. But there was a movie
31% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm not giving this.
I saw the trailer and I didn't even want to watch it. But
it's one of those movies where you'll watch it and you'll be like, what the beep did I watch?
Oh shit!
Now the movie that got me, and I recommend this to everybody because I liked
that.
Dirk Benedict.
Dirk Benedict just announced for January 2nd.
So you heard it here first, guys.
What's that?
Now I got to say this: the movie that got me back on track with Matt Smith going into movies, and The Crown is another story.
Amazing.
The Crown's another story. I'm just like, but the movie that got me back on track with Matt Smith as far as movies are concerned, and I got to say this, and Patty's probably going to razz me on it. I like the stupid movies like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I liked it. It was, to me, it wasn't bad. It was just, and I
didn't see it. I heard about it.
It was. Well, I like the historical things, and I like it when people play around with the historical, because you could tell that the person who wrote this knew about Abraham, knew about Stephen Douglas, knew about his wife. They just kind of remodified it so that it would work in this way.
I could see Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
That's where I was heading to. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
I just pulled up his IMDb.
Movie that he was just, I think, the best in. When he played Parsons Collins, that is the role, because he is just, you have this movie of gore and violence going on around him, and he's just being this jerk. But I loved it.
Well, it definitely
played it off so well.
There's a precedent, I think, among like former doctors to be all like, okay, you know, now go and play a couple of bastards, because people have seen you as this way too. I mean, you know, Tenet, Purple Man, as far as it do, and I think Smith, they did it a couple times, and leading in, he was going to be the Skynet, the Uber villain, and that, and whether it failed or not, it was just him saying, hey, look, I can do this too. Capaldi's going to be, you know, the thinker in the next Suicide Squad movie.
Can't wait. I want to see that just for him.
For however long he'll be in it.
5 minutes.
I know I've heard all kinds of interesting things about it. I'll say this much: it seems very evocative of the X-Force scene in Deadpool 2. A lot of characters have two scenes: one to introduce them, and the next scene to kill them.
Yeah. But that worked with Brad Pitt. That was okay with Brad Pitt's character. Because everybody, that was the whole reason. But yeah, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I just loved his character, and he was it kind of did harken back a little bit to the 11th Doctor, but you could see he was going full on just being a dork and then just having a good time with it. And the movie was kind of, I watched it because of that, even though there was this gore and violence going on with the main storyline. He was just like, he was the chauvinist. He was just on and on, and I loved it.
I think
go ahead.
On the old show we were on, I think it was one of the panels we were doing live, and the eternal question of somebody, well, why can't an older actor come back? Because of course everybody was just like, you know, David Tennant should come back, and it's like it doesn't really work like that. Whatever. But so I came up with what would it do? And I remember it was Smith's with that one that I had to get the inspiration. Okay, this is how I would be all right for a doctor to come back and be the doctor. Same actor, completely different personality.
Yeah.
Completely different mode of dress, completely different personality, completely the way to do it. I was like, yes, that would be that.
Because what's the point if they're going to come back and do the same thing and rehash the same thing? They need to have a different dynamic.
Exactly.
Might as well watch the old stuff.
Exactly. And the thing about Prejudice and Zombies, for his role, majority of his lines were actually ad-libbed, so they were not in the script. He had to do it all himself. So that gives you another element there. And then going with the whole thing about having a doctor come back, one of the things, and this was a rumor about 13, and I wish that this had happened, is that there was this rumor going around that Capaldi during the regeneration was going to split into two versions of the Doctor, being a version of a good and a bad. And I would love to see that happen sometime, where having a Doctor playing two different personalities of the Doctor, whether that split is actually a Doctor or
Superman 3. Choking each other by the dumpster. I thought didn't they have that with Nightmare in Silver? They they had Mr.
Kind of, yes. And
Mr.
That's another episode that Clever. I love that I don't think that it gets enough recognition of it, just because I love that, because Matt has to play essentially two different personalities in the same scene, and it's fantastic the way it comes together.
Well, unfortunately, we're coming up to the end of the after broadcast party. Again, GalaxyCon.com. Please check out Patty Hawkins. Definitely want to sign up now. Want to get everything squared away. Want to sign up way before and get it taken care of. And as soon as you log in, get your question posted. Make sure you throw that question out there as soon as you can, because
and don't
get buried.
Don't spam it. Don't repeat it.
Right. Yeah.
Just like, hey, here's my question. And let it go, because the minders in the chat room are usually pretty easygoing. But we've had a few ones where somebody was just like and for the first time, I know producers, I finally had to use you had to use the check button and kick them out. They were able to still watch the Q&A, but they were ejected from the chat room. And that's something else too, by the way. You don't have to go into the chat room. You can just watch it. It's an option to join in the chat room. And the nice thing about the chat room too is that it's live. And when was the last time you got into an live internet chat room about people that you share a passion with and bouncing off of each other and stuff like that? And yeah, we've had people hey, hit me up on my Twitter here. Let's so it almost harkens back to the old AOL days, in the chat rooms.
And it's free. It's free for the chat room, for the chat, to go in there, just to watch, just to see what's going on out there. Okay, so Benji, Clifford, Phantasmagoria, also the 25 Days of Humus, or 25 Days of Christmas with the Legend of the Traveling Tardis. We put up some great pictures from classic and new Traveling Tardis. Recently put up the clips from K9 and Company, if anybody remembers that. Some stuff, so you get a lot of good variety.
It was Elizabeth Sladen. I remember everything with Elizabeth Sladen.
Well, I remember that movie.
That
show. Yeah. So please join us again if you haven't signed up. Again, Facebook.com, The Traveling Tardis. Thank you for, and this is where it gets weird, Patty, because Facebook has changed everything. We now have 43,094 people who like the page.
Mm-hmm.
We have, but this is the number that people are telling me to register. 43,701 follow the page.
Yes.
So technically we're closing on 44,000 like in a weekend. So guys, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, really, thank you for supporting us. Thank you for the super chats, which I was expecting. Thank you, Kevin, for that. And if you want to support us, we do have our merchandise shop 20% off. And I can't thank you enough, guys. Please stay safe and have a happy holidays. Thank you again, Patty. Thank you for joining us. Melanie, Mackenzie. Don't have to go home because we already here, but we can't stay here. Wash your damn hands. So thank you, folks. We're going to end the broadcast now. Have a great day.
Wash your hands and use dental dams.